I gotta be honest about this one. Why does it take so long for some games to launch on the Nintendo Switch? Too often we see how interesting games are released for other consoles and PC, but for Nintendo Switch, nothing. We have to wait an eternity. And in the case of Ocean's Heart, the same principle applies. This game was available for PC already in the beginning of 2021, and we had to wait longer than a year to get the opportunity to play the game on the Nintendo Switch. As an old-time fan of Legend of Zelda, I get curious when similar games are released. A couple of years ago, Link's Awakening was released in a new version, but since then it has been quiet on the Zelda front. Therefore, it's fun when other game developers hold the banner high and create games in the same genre. I'm talking about two-dimensional action RPGs seen from a top-down perspective. And now it's time for Ocean's Heart to make its debut on the Nintendo Switch. In this review I discuss the basic aspects of the game and how it's perceived on the Nintendo Switch. You can support my channel by subscribing. I review new games every week. I received a review copy of this game, and with that said, let's take a closer look at Ocean's Heart. There's no doubt, this game is somewhat reminiscent of Legend of Zelda, especially A Link to the Past. You will recognize the way you move, how to swing your sword and use bombs, but perhaps the biggest similarity happens right at the beginning of the game. Yeah, you wake up in your bed ready to explore the world. Maybe not so original, but an effective way to start a game. You play a young woman named Tilia. Her sister and father have gone out in the world, and Tilia's mission is to find her family. Why did they run away from home? Where are they? Will she find them? It's your job as a player to find out. I think the narrative follows the game's most important aspect, namely the exploration. To know what is happening in the world, one has to investigate villages, cities, wilderness and forests, and sometimes you will find clues that can lead you on the right track. The game's story may seem simple, but given that it is relatively long, you realize how extensive this game is. It takes several hours to play through the entire game. In addition, there are lots of side quests. These have their own stories and are usually about helping different people with their worries. Sometimes the side quests can be a little cryptic, but at the same time rewarding. I think the side quests make this game really interesting. Of course, you can skip them if you like, but they add an extra dimension and make the game bigger. By doing the side quests, I got a clearer understanding of the world I play in, which people are good and evil, or even silly. This game is very much about exploring. You don't get caught up in hour-long dialogues where the way forward is streamlined. Instead, it's more like the world is yours. Go out and explore. This was really fun actually. You move over large areas and at first I got lost, but it's worth it. You can find new items or discover new places of interest. Or maybe you start a side quest with rewards that can help you along the way. Now, as there is a lot of focus on exploration, there will also be a lot of action and gameplay. You fight enemies, solve puzzles, find new weapons and other things that you can take advantage of. Some enemies are recognizable. Yeah, remember this one? If you're not ready, the enemies can be really dangerous. They can halve your life, or in worst case, kill you. Like here, I wasn't prepared at all. I was almost one-shotted. I have to get stronger and come back later. At the same time, it's quite entertaining to fight against enemies with different strengths. It's as if you get the opportunity to try, but are you up for the challenge? One skill is put to the test. This snail is ridiculous. Did you think it would be slow and clumsy? Forget it. It's actually one of the fastest enemies in the game and moves forward like a torpedo. It's like the game is trying to trick you. In the game you also meet a number of bosses, usually pirates. Here I must say that I was a little disappointed actually. Many bosses are far too easy to eliminate and rarely pose a threat. Like this boss for example. A couple of swings with a sword, then a win. Is this game replayable? This can be a difficult question to answer because there is a clear end to the game. You play through the main story, eliminate the bosses and find various helpful items. But after you have reached the end, the question is whether you're done. If you are a completionist, there sure are a lot of things to do in this game. There are many missions to complete, various weapons and items to find. Like here, this door is locked, and I still have no idea where the key is hidden. In this way, there is the opportunity to explore further, to solve the secrets that are hidden in Ocean's Heart. This is the game in a nutshell, exploration and investigation. However, prioritizing just playing through the main story, I don't see it as completely necessary to replay the game, unless you put it on a shelf, forget the story, pick it up and relive it once again. I myself have gone through the whole game but feel that I want to continue to find all items. It requires me to carefully examine every single area. Fun but requires a lot of patience. It feels like I can never get tired of pixel art games, and Ocean's Heart shows why. In true Zelda spirit, you experience the game from a top-down perspective. You run around in a classic pixelated world that offers detailed environments and above all a great variety. I really like the villages. The houses are beautiful and all around you see different buildings that together create a really cute overall experience. This is pixel art done right, and I like it. My only complaint is some wilderness. They sometimes look a little boring and it feels like something is missing. Like here for example, it's just the color yellow, not so inspiring to look at, but the game has many areas and overall the graphics look really good. So, Ocean's Heart is now available on the Nintendo Switch. The game works well to play in handheld, and I didn't discover that it suffered from slowdowns or anything like that. Here are some pictures of what it looks like. If you have played games like Link's Awakening and Link to the Past, you will probably recognize the control patterns, and they work just fine in this game. You can move your character 360 degrees, use your sword and roll. In addition, there is a possibility of using bombs as well as other items that I don't really want to reveal, no spoilers. But in general, I don't think the weapons are that revolutionary. Generic weapons are mainly used. I have seen most of them before. One thing I find a little boring is one's speed. You move relatively slowly forward. This makes me choose to roll instead. This goes faster, but to be honest, I would rather have a faster basic speed, so I didn't have to roll through the whole game. Ocean's Heart is a game that definitely draws inspiration from Legend of Zelda. There are similarities in the enemies you meet, how your character moves, the weapons you use, and the pixelated art style. But despite the similarities, this game offers something different. A world of pirates, a great freedom to explore, and the opportunity to complete lots of side quests. There is so much to do. It's not a streamlined experience, instead you can explore large areas and try to discover interesting places or find useful items. The game runs smoothly on the Nintendo Switch, whether you play handheld or docked. The control is mostly smooth, but I think the character moves a bit too slow. I would have liked a higher tempo. The bosses are not that fun either. Usually you just stand there and swing your sword and heal yourself until the boss is eliminated. It would have been more fun if you had to think a little. Perhaps different phases and more tricky mechanics. I recommend Ocean's Heart if you like pirates and an action RPG that is played from a top-down perspective. And I have to say, this game was an enjoyable experience. If you want to see upcoming reviews for the Nintendo Switch, please subscribe to my channel. Have a nice day, bye.